Hello, everybody, and welcome to Decoding the WSL, the podcast dedicated to the stats and facts in the WSL. I'm your host, Sam Biccarino. I'm very pleased to say that today is the Arsenal preview podcast. It is I think the first time and probably the only time we're going to be doing one of these podcasts where everyone on the podcast anyway, is a fan / expert of the team we're talking about. I don't think any of us hide from it, but we'll go through us all individually anyway. Firstly, one of those that have been on the pod, I think I checked earlier, it's your 15th appearance this now, Izzy Duddy. How are you?
Wow, that's quite the stat, actually. I like that one. 15th cap. I brought a friend today, Sam, to celebrate. We have Gunnosaurus joining us on the call.
Amazing.
Well, he's gonna be my lucky omen. I'm gonna put him right here. I don't know if you can see him. There we go. Very well, Sam. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's gonna be like, did you ever watch Cats Does Countdown? They always like have a little mascot at the side.
Yeah, he's mine.
And alongside Izzy as well, we have returning for her second episode is Ella Smetana. Ella, how are you feeling today?
Very well, Sam. Thank you for having me back on. It's lovely to be here with all of you. I actually also do have a Gunnosaurus toy somewhere in my house, but I haven't dug him up for this episode. But yeah, I'm very excited to talk everything Arsenal.
Good to hear. And then coming on we were just talking off mic for surprisingly her first appearance on the podcast. Because in my head, I think because I've seen Beth a few times over the year, that I just assumed that you'd been on at some point. But no, it's a podcast first appearance for Beth McCowen.
It is. I'm very excited to be making my debut. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be talking all things Arsenal. Unfortunately, I do not have a Gunnosaurus here with me. I'm currently in Melbourne, which is very exciting, but did not have room in my case for my Gunnosaurus. But what I do have is a lovely Arsenal hoodie because it's currently winter here down under. So a little bit chilly, but yeah, got my trusty Arsenal hoodie to keep me warm.
Yeah, we've all got a bit of Arsenal merch today. It was always going to happen, wasn't it? And thank you for joining us all the way from Australia today. It is, a bit of a late night record for some of us, early morning record for Beth, but we're all compromising a bit because we all want to talk all things Arsenal ahead of the 25-26 season. So before we get on to looking at what's coming up this season, let's have a look at what happened last season. And I think it's probably, the sort of thing that if you offered me this at the start of last season, I'd have taken it. Second place finish in the WSL, a quarterfinal in the FA Cup, losing out to Liverpool, losing in the semi-final of the Sub Cup to Man City, but crown champions of Europe, winning the Women's Champions League against Barcelona in the final. I think this was overall probably a successful season. Beth, I'm going to come to you first on this. How did you view last season? How much did you enjoy it?
I think until we won the Champions League, I was like, it is what it is. Second, if you told me second at the start of the season, I probably wouldn't have been too upset about it. Of course, better progression in like domestic cups would have been great, but it doesn't get better than winning the Champions League. So if you win the Champions League in a season, that is a successful season, especially given the way Arsenal began the season. Of course, I'm sure we'll talk about the change in head coach. That is, it's absolutely historic to have won the Champions League. So that kind of overrides everything else from last season for me, both as an Arsenal fan, but also just as someone who, as I'm sure many do, sees the Champions League as kind of like the pinnacle.
Yeah, I think we'd have had to really struggle to have an unsuccessful season while winning the Champions. Probably have had to get relegated to have an unsuccessful season while winning the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially, like you say, under new management with Jonas leaving back in October, and René Slager's a sort of, in comparison, relatively unproven prospect, but certainly hit the ground running and continued that through and getting done what needed to be done. Obviously, not just doing okay in the league, finishing second was probably about on par with what Arsenal would have expected at the start of the season, but going above and beyond in Europe, which is fantastic. Then moving into the summer, there has been a fair amount of change. Not necessarily as much as I would have thought, which is good, because when you've had a successful season, I guess you kind of want to keep that going. But there have been a few players departing: Lena Hurtig, Amanda Illerstedt, Taya Goldie and Freya Godfrey, both going to London City Lionesses, and then Laura Wienreuter going to Manchester City are the sort of permanent signings as such that have gone. We've had 2 players go on loan to Brighton, Rosa Kafaji, and then I think it was today or yesterday it was announced that Michelle Adjumang is going as well. And then there's a host of youth players, most of which have gone to Watford on loan. But a few other loans being sorted out, probably will be sorted out before the end of the window. Izzy, I'm going to come to you here because I think there's a bit of consistency with Arsenal squad this year, because a lot of the players that played a lot last year are staying. You look at those players that are departing, they're generally bit part players, or at least were last season. But I'm interested to hear what you think about Kafaji and Adjumang and how those loans might affect Arsenal in the future.
Yeah, I think Arsenal have always been really good at loaning out players and sort of developing them elsewhere and then, bringing them back. And Adjumang is a clear example of that. I think she's going to struggle to get game time against the likes of, Kelly, Stina, Alessia Russo. I mean, there's some big names in there. And although she's arguably one of the biggest names herself now after the Euros, she still needs to get that kind of regular game time. So I'm really happy that she's gone back to Brighton because she played really well there. And I think Arsenal will be able to keep her. Kafaji, I'm just glad to see her go and get some game time because, I was so excited when she came to Arsenal. And I think that was one of my biggest letdowns from last season, was just not seeing her play at all. And I don't know what sort of went on there. I know there are a few injuries here and there, but it just seemed like something didn't really click. So hoping her and Adjumang can have a good run at Brighton, and then we can manage to sort of bring them both back and slot them into the team.
Yeah, I think finding a place to slot them in will be difficult because Adjumang will ideally want to be playing where Alessia Russo is playing, and that's not an easy player to get one over. Kafaji's probably wants to play in the 10, but has a bit more license to go play out wide, etc. I'm really looking forward to seeing what she's like, because I remember watching her in pre-season last season and thinking that we really had a player on our hands here, and never really saw much of her since. So be exciting to see what happens with her. Let's have a look at some of the players that have come in, though, because I think this is probably going to be a longer section of the podcast than we normally have, but we've got Edek Borbe coming from Wolfsburg, 2 players from Liverpool, Taylor Hines and world record fee for Olivia Smith, and then Chloe Kelly making her loan move last season from Manchester City permanent, coming in at the end of her contract there. Ella, I think this is a bit of a difficult question, but I'm going to at least throw it your way first and potentially throw it around after as well. But Chloe Kelly and Liv Smith are probably the 2 big signings there. But who do you think is going to be more important in Arsenal's future?
In the future, do you say?
Well, from now onwards, who's going to be more important?
Short-term future or long-term future? Well, I think both are really, really important. And I mean, Chloe Kelly is a very, very popular signing amongst the Arsenal fan base. We saw what she did when she came on loan in January. Immediately came in and just looked so incredible back in that Arsenal shirt, scoring goals, getting assists, just contributing in really important moments. And it was 2 goals and 5 assists across all competitions during her loan period. Both her and Olivia Smith are huge signings for us. Olivia Smith, obviously the younger of the 2. That's one where you are looking more to the future. She's 21 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And, when we talk about record WSL signing, I think it's incredible. It's incredible, you look at what the club is doing and making investments like this and paving the way. It makes me proud as an Arsenal fan. I'm sure you guys will feel the same, but to see Arsenal investing in such a young, exciting talent in Olivia Smith, and someone that will be a part of the future team under Renee, it's super, super exciting. Olivia Smith is definitely more long-term, and Chloe Kelly maybe slightly more short-term, but both I'm very excited by.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we've gone and spent that much money on her. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just thought we'd be more looking at other options that are not necessarily more affordable, but spreading the cost around. But obviously, we've not really spent that much money otherwise. Beth, how about you? Because these are two really major signings, but there's also, I guess Annette Borber coming in, who's, I don't know if she's going to be sort of a major signing, because I think Van Domselaar, is probably going to be keeping her spot, but Taylor Hines could be another pretty astute signing.
Yeah, 100%. I think Taylor Hines is a great signing because she has versatility as a fullback. She's a really strong player. She was someone that when she pledged her allegiance to Jamaica, I was kind of frustrated from like an England perspective that England hadn't managed to kind of integrate her into that squad, because I think she's a really valuable player. And of course, having depth is really, really important in like any position, but especially defensively. We've obviously seen at points Arsenal maybe struggle when it comes to like being in full competitions, for example, and then players like Emily Fox, like Katie McCabe, they don't get rested, and then you don't want to be running the risk of people getting injuries. So if they can be avoided. So I don't expect Taylor Hines to necessarily be a player that starts all the time, but I think it's fantastic to have her to kind of rotate. If you're going to have a player to rotate, then she's a pretty good option, in my opinion. And in terms of Chloe Kelly, yeah, absolutely buzzing about that. Back when there was all the talk in the January transfer window around, where will she go? Like, would she ever go to Arsenal? I know a lot of people were quite skeptical, and it was like, nah, we don't want Chloe Kelly. And I was like, trust me, we do. We want Chloe Kelly. So yeah, on a personal level, very excited and pleased that has kind of so far worked out in the way it has, and hope that her good form and her kind of just enjoyment of playing the game for Arsenal as well will continue. And Olivia Smith, I initially, like, £1 million is a big price tag, so I almost had like a bit of a knee-jerk reaction of being like, what? Just because that's a lot of money, and especially with such a young player, it's kind of like, wow, that almost like feels like a bit of a gamble. But then once I thought about it more, I was like, no, like, this is brilliant. I don't know why I'm like feeling any negative way about this, because she clearly has such a high ceiling. She's a fantastic player. She's the kind of player and the brand of player that Renee Slagers and Arsenal clearly want and need. So yeah, absolutely buzzing about all of it, to be honest. And I think it's a really, really exciting new chapter for Arsenal. I think Olivia Smith represents a lot of what Renee Slagers is trying to build.
Yeah, I think she'll be an important part of Slagers' plans going forward. I think the £1 million price for seems huge now, obviously, because it is the biggest price that's been paid for a women's player era. But I think it's the sort of thing that in 5-10 years' time, we'll look back on, it will seem pretty normal. Because I think at the rate that the women's game is growing as well, and how attendances are growing, therefore match receipts grow, and the sort of commercial side of the game and how much money is getting into it, there's so much more coming in. So these sort of fees just going to become more common. They're going to get bigger. And yeah, I think this is I know we've got in here first to be the first £1 million player, but she certainly won't be the last in the next year or two, I think. Izzy, sometimes incoming players, and they can be just as big as the players that have actually signed new contracts. And it's really important, I think, the 3 contracts that Arsenal have signed from in the club this season. We've had a lot of them. Moy, Frida Marnham and Kim Little all sign extensions. They are 3 players that, well, Frida Marnham and Kim Little especially played a lot last season. A lot of them, Moy, didn't play probably as much as she would have liked to, but we know she's a real integral part of the squad, both on and off the pitch. How important do you see these contracts being? Because these are 3 players that the club will want for years to come, I presume.
Yeah, I think it's so important. And I actually think as well with Arsenal, it's always, when it comes to signings, or new contracts, it's always about the story just as it is as much about the player. And I think that's why Olivia Smith is so good, because it's that record fee. So I think Taylor Hines and Chloe Kelly, it's so good that we've sort of locked them down because those are sort of former Arsenal players coming home. And, you know, I think it's the same thing with those three that have signed new contracts. I mean, Kim Little, you know, everyone is always saying, oh, is she going to retire this season? Is she going to retire this season? But, you know, it's the sort of, she's led us through and she's not done yet. Lotte Moy, fan favourite, lioness, like, yes, she's had injury, but it shows that both her commitment to the club and the club's commitment to her. And I think Freedom Mornham as well, people often go back and forth with her mid-season, but she shows up in big moments and she has a sort of special legend when it comes to the Champions League as well. So I think Arsenal are using their transfers to kind of craft this really nice story as well that they can kind of market, because we know as well that that's what Arsenal do best is market what they have. And I think by securing those three on new contracts, they're kind of, yes, sort of more subtly making a bit of a statement.
Yeah, I think, like you say, it is what Arsenal do probably better than any other team, is the marketing side of it, and they know what they're doing with that aspect as well. There are other couple of other contracts that of note. There's a first professional contract for both Cecilia Wellesley-Smith and Jessie Gale, so it'd be interesting to see what they're like in the years to come. Let's have a look at this season coming then, because we've spoken about who's come in, who's departed, but the season just gone, we obviously saw, well, actually PFA Awards were, I think, last night as we record. It's currently the 20th of August. We saw awards for Russo, for Mariona, for Lewis Smith, for various different things, whether that's Team of the Year, Young Player of the Year, just the Player of the Year for Mariona. Ella, do you think these are going to be the same sort of players that we see this season? Do you think there's going to be anyone else that sort of shines bright that wasn't quite one of those shining bright last season?
Yeah, I think definitely players like Mariona, Russo, just the consistency, I think, of these types of players is remarkable, and I definitely expect the same to happen in the coming season. I think giving Chloe Kelly a full season at Arsenal will be really interesting, because I really like what I've seen from her on loan, and I think she has a lot to give to the club. She almost looks revived in an Arsenal shirt. It looks like a different Chloe Kelly. So I think she's got a lot to give to the club. But yeah, I think, listen, we've now managed to get ourselves in a position where we've got an unbelievable team, and not even just an unbelievable team, but an unbelievable squad. So I expect a lot of those Arsenal players to be up there, team of the season, all of those. I mean, I'm not going to say my predictions for the season yet, but I think Arsenal are going to have a special season again next season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good season. I think it probably will be those similar sort of players. Personally, I think it's going to be like your Mariana, your Russo, Van Domselaar. The players that are going to be playing a lot are going to be in there for a reason, because when you've got so many special players in that squad, to be special enough to be playing pretty much more than anyone else, you must be one of the best. And I think there's a few there that they are, like Mariana and Russo especially, they're probably going to be one of the first names on the team sheet for not just Arsenal, but if they were at any other team in the world, they are going to be up there, and there's not many players that are going to start ahead of them. Beth, do you think there's any other sort of like breakthrough stars that we might see this season? The only one that I've personally noted down is Kafaji. Obviously, that's going to be at Brighton, but do you think there's any players that we maybe haven't seen that much of this season that could be kind of getting their breakthrough now?
Potentially Jenna Niceswanger. I hope that we get to see some more of her. I've been really, really impressed by what we've seen so far. I think that she was a really good signing that has kind of gone under the radar a bit. But yeah, she's quite a versatile player. She's very, very capable. She's very confident. When she's come on in games, she's come on, and even if she's only played for 10 minutes, she's probably, I would say, been the best player on the field, or one of at least. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing some more of her. I actually think she could play quite an important role in the future at Arsenal. And yeah, I don't think she necessarily always gets the credit that she deserves. So yeah, I'm excited to hopefully see a little bit more of her, whether that comes from substitutions, whether it comes from cup games, we'll see. But yeah.
I think she'd be one that I'd like to see more of because, yeah, like you say, she basically subbed on a few times and that was it. But she came with a pretty good track record. Obviously came from the NWSL and, yeah, seemed pretty good when she played. She's very sort of, she's a bit of a utility player, can play in quite a few different positions, which is useful for Arsenal. Especially when we get the odd injuries in certain positions. So I'm hoping that she might be, I'm probably more hopeful than expected with her because of how little she got played. I don't trust Rene to play her, but I think if she does, it would be good. That's kind of what I've got from there. Izzy, let's start with you on the big one. How do we think Arsenal season is going to go overall? Where do you think they're going to go in the league? What about the cups? Let's know your thoughts.
I'm like the last person you want to ask about this because I start off every Arsenal season like so negative.
That's why I wanted to do you first because then we can.
So it goes up from here. Yeah. My only worry with Arsenal this season is that we have a huge target on our backs now. I mean, when you sign those kind of players and you've just won the Champions League and your squad is full of Euros winners and a Euros finalist, you know, that's a big standard that you're setting for yourself. And we know with Arsenal they have, their ups and downs every season. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us finish second again. But I think it's crucial that we pick up some domestic cups as well, and get, probably at least to the semis, I think, of the Champions League, because I think that the problem that Arsenal have had in the last few seasons is they haven't really been competing on all fronts, and that was where they always fell down against the likes of Chelsea. For me, it's more about showing that they will become that team that consistently gets to the finals rather than necessarily winning everything or winning, the league and a few cups. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to win the Champions League again and the league as well. But in terms of my expectations, for me, it's more about sort of setting a good foundation now that we've got this really good squad kind of, I'm less concerned about winning and more concerned about showing intention to win, I guess.
Okay, so you're going for second in the league then. I picked that up in there. I was going to say, that was very much, by the end of it, it was almost like, I'm trying not to give an opinion here, so I can't be wrong. But I got the second in the league halfway through that. No, to be fair, I'm probably in the same boat as you. I think that Chelsea are, as much as I hate to say it, they are probably just too good over a season. I think we saw, especially in the final last season, is in the Champions League final, Arsenal can do over a really good team in a game, but whether they can keep that up all season and, do those tough fixtures like Brighton away, we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully those are the sort of areas that we can improve on going forward. Beth, how about you? How do you think Arsenal season's going to go?
I think a title push in the WSL is a realistic goal when we look at Arsenal's squad, the position that they should be in. So I'm going to say this is the year. I'm going to go all in, be confident and say this is the year that Arsenal are going to win the WSL again. Of course, the Champions League, that's hard to repeat, but of course, like semi-finals minimum is the expectation that I would imagine should be set. And then in terms of domestic cups, I think there's an element of pressure to bring home at least one, but also kind of like you were saying, is he just get to finals, stake that claim. But yeah, I think I'd be surprised if the league wasn't of course it's always going to be a priority, but a very clear aspiration should be to win the league this season, I think. And I think that's something that is a possibility.
Yeah, I think my I know I've said it's going to be the same position as last season, but something I just thought I didn't add in. I think we'll be closer to first than we will be to third. I don't think Chelsea are going to have, is it a 12-point gap at the top at the end of last season? I don't think
I
that's
should
gonna
also just, on that note, Sam, they've just confirmed that LJ is going to be sidelined for a number of weeks with an injury.
Have they?
So that is potentially huge.
They will have to bring in one of the 8 other world-class wingers.
I know. What are they going to do?
Such a tough problem to have.
Yeah, do you hate it? Yeah, annoyingly, Chelsea will just bring in Gurrighton or someone instead, and it'll be like, that might have been who they picked in the first place. We'll never know. Ella, I'll come to you last because it sounds like you're going to be the most positive of the lot.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm really going to go for it with my predictions here because, like I said before, I really have a special feeling about Arsenal going into this season. And maybe that's some of that Champions League win that's just kind of still like oozing around inside of me. But I just think, this team looks very different to what we've seen in the last couple of seasons. And I know that's Renee working some of her magic. But I really do believe that Arsenal can win the league this season. And it is tough for me to say that because, it's almost impossible to look at how Chelsea won't win the league again. But I think it was always going to be Arsenal and Chelsea up there fighting for it this season. I think they're the clear 2 favourites to basically compete against each other for it. Last season it was 12-point gap. This season I think it'll be much closer between the 2 sides, and I just feel like I said, I think Arsenal are really building something. I think they've made some really important recruitments, and also I just think this is Renee's first full season coming off of the back of a Champions League win. There's just such a positive vibe, I think, around the club and even just the players that have signed. There's just a really, really good feeling, I think, around Arsenal. And so I really do think that this could be the year with the team that we have, with the manager that we have now. I'm going to go for it. I do think that Arsenal are going to win the league this year.
A little pop question that I didn't add into the running order on purpose, but I'm keen to hear everyone's sort of quick fire answer on, is that if you could sign off now that you either see Arsenal finishing second but win the Champions League again, or win the WSL but get knocked out in like the quarterfinals, which one would you take? Izzy?
WSL.
Beth?
Yeah.
Champions League.
Ella?
I think Champions League as well. There's something a bit different about the Champions League, but I would love the WSL as well. It's tough.
We'll make it 2-2 because I would go WSL. It's hard.
Really?
That Champions League is amazing, but also it's been a while since we won the WSL, and no doubt it will be Chelsea. If not, my light's just gone off. Sorry if you're watching on YouTube. I've just gone really dark. Okay, let's move on to one of the sections that we're going to have in as a repeat this season, and we have our extraordinaire with us today, Izzy. It is the aerial fantasy section. So if you don't already know, a lot of you will have played Fantasy WSL last season. It's been rebranded now to Aerial Fantasy, and it is now live. You can go and download the app from your app store or whatever operating system you have and create your team. We have, once again, got a lovely verified league for everyone to join. I think we had about 250 odd people last season, maybe even more this season, which a few of us are already in. I think a few people are starting to make their teams already, and I'm definitely not going to keep my team the same as it is before the season starts because I'll change my mind too much. But I'm in there. You can use the code Stats and Facts to join the Decoding the WSL League. And yeah, I thought we'd have a chat about some of the players that we're going to put in. I know Arsenal have a relatively favourable start to the season compared to some others. Obviously, London City Lionesses in the first game is, I think, a bit of an unknown. But we'll see what comes. I'm going to fire it over to Izzy first as the connoisseur of fantasy among the podcasts. Is there anyone that you think this season for Arsenal, or, well, is there anyone? There will be. How many do you think are sort of like must picks for Arsenal this season?
That is a good question, and it's tricky because I think in fantasy, at least this season, there's going to be some hefty price tags. Again, Arsenal did themselves that favour when they won the Champions League. So for me, actually, I would go heavy defensive for Arsenal this season. I think they have very attacking defensive players, the likes of Katie McCabe. Yes, they are the most expensive defenders in the game, but I think they are actually worth it, and it's pretty much guaranteed. If you've got someone like Emily Fox, Leah Williamson, Katie McCabe, that they are going to get a significant amount of points. They were in like the top 20 last season in terms of point scorers. Katie McCabe particularly was really high up. So I think for me, I would say, yeah, one of those three. I think you can pretty much say Caldente is a must-have as well, but again, that's a heftier price tag. And to be honest with the forwards, I don't really know how it's going to work when we're like stacked with so much talent. So at this stage, I'm just kind of avoiding all of that because they're all really pricey. So yeah, for me, it's like you need at least one Arsenal defender, if not two.
Well, that's good because I've got an Arsenal defender in mind so far, as well as Mariana. I did end up putting someone else in, but I basically started out with 3 Arsenal players and 3 Man United players. I thought they had the sort of best starting run and ran out of money quite quickly, so I've had to amend it a little bit. But again, I'll come back to it by the season start. Beth, how about you? Have you made your team yet?
I haven't actually, so I've got to catch up, but that's definitely been helpful. So thank you, Izzy. And I'm gonna pay close attention to that idea of maybe the Arsenal players being a little bit more defensively heavy, because last season I didn't do particularly well in fantasy. So yeah, it's the comeback is on.
Maybe this season will be your year. This will be your year.
Exactly.
Ella, how about you? Made your team?
I have not yet. I have not. But I mean, in terms of Arsenal players to have in, it is really difficult because they are so expensive. I mean, it is quite hard to justify not having Alessia Russo in your team. It's almost like she's kind of the player that you build your team around. Like, not to compare, but it's like the Haaland or Salah that you always kind of have to pick in fantasy, and then you just make all the other picks with the money that you have left. But obviously, yes, she's the most expensive player that there is this season, which doesn't help. But like I said, it's difficult to justify not having her because you just know she is going to score goals.
Yeah, from my first draft, I had Bunny Shaw in, and I think taking Bunny Shaw out and putting Russo in might be the go-to, because I think I had 500,000 left, and I think Russo is 500,000 more than Bunny Shaw.
Yeah,
so maybe that's meant to be. Izzy, I know you obviously see a bit of a bit more than the rest of us do, being someone that works for Ariel. But something that I don't know if this exists at the moment, because I'm thinking for Arsenal, probably not, because they're such a popular team. But is there anyone that might be a good visionary pick this season? Because I know Arsenal players are super popular, and basically those that start tend to be very highly selected. But is there anyone out there that's a visionary?
Not as far as I know, because yes, they are very popular, and in terms of people who play the game as well, it's a very Arsenal heavy user base, so they're sort of more inclined to put them in. But in terms of people that I think could be a good pick, who's not a visionary, but is probably about as close as it comes with Arsenal. So I think when I last checked, she has 5% ownership, maybe. And someone we've not actually mentioned yet, and I was going to mention earlier, but I didn't. Victoria Pelova, I think, has a comeback on her hands, and I think if she can get the game time, like, she could seriously impact things this season. We saw a little bit of her at the end of last season, and she's not owned that much, and she's relatively quite cheap because she obviously didn't play due to her injury last season. I think she's 6.5 million, which is really not that bad for such a high class player. So that would be my kind of top tip. But yeah, interestingly, actually, I was looking today, and the moment Kafaji and Ajman went to Brighton, their ownership shot up through the roof. So they are taking their Arsenal fans, and all everyone's picking them for Brighton now. So yeah, it's interesting to see how that sort of dynamic will affect the rest of Brighton's team as well.
Yeah, I did when I did my first draft, the one where I spent too much money. I did have Rose Gafardi in it, and this was before Ajman went as well. But yeah, when I was looking through and seeing who might be a visionary of the people that I'd already selected, and Gafardi was on that 18% ownership. I was like, that is huge for someone that's not at a major team as well. And obviously, it's just because she's on loan from Arsenal, most likely. But yeah, I'm looking forward to another season of fantasy. I did. I managed to hold my place in the top 200 last year, which I was really impressed with. And I need to not give myself the same level again this year. I think I was in the top 100 after about 8 or 9 weeks, and I was like, right, top 200 will do me. This season, top 10,000, and I'm good. That's what I'm going to aim for, because I think it might have been a bit of a fluke. But yeah, there's a little roundup of what we can expect from Arsenal in Aerial Fantasy. Yeah, like I said, you can join our league using the code Stats and Facts. Go and download the Aerial Fantasy app. Go and follow Aerial Fantasy on social media as well. We will, already have, but already will as well at them on our social media as well. So make sure you're following Decoding the WSL as well, and that'll be easy to go and find. But we'll move on to a different kind of game now, and it is Know Your Stat. And I can see, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that everyone's faces just lit up a little bit.
Just dropped.
So a mix of fear, excitement, whatever it may be, we're going into it. So if you're new here, Know Your Stat is essentially a game of categories. I'm going to be giving Izzy, Beth, and Ella a category, and they are going to name things that fit into that category. If they take too long, give a repeat answer or give an incorrect answer, they'll be out. And the person that gives the most correct answers on each round wins. I have 3 rounds. If someone is winning after 3 rounds, you are the victor. If you win a round each, we will have a 4th round. Beth, you are going to go first on the first round, and I'm going to let you pick which one it is, as it's your first appearance. So you've got 4 options. You get to pick which one you want to do first. Would you like the one about shots, passing, lineups, or clean sheets?
Ooh. I'm going to say clean sheets.
Clean sheets. Okay, so I would like you to tell me any of the 18 correct answers to this question, and it is any match where Arsenal kept a clean sheet in either the WSL or the Champions League last season. So this includes Champions League qualifying, and I need to know the team they played and whether Arsenal were home or away or at a neutral ground, because there were a few of those as well. There are 18 correct answers. It's going to be Beth to go first, then Ella, then Izzy.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Am I just giving one answer at a time?
Yeah, just one answer at a time.
Okay. My first answer is in the Champions League final against Barcelona.
Yeah, funnily enough, I thought that might be the first answer. Whoever went first, I thought that might be it. That is, unsurprisingly, a correct answer. Ella next.
Crystal Palace away.
Crystal Palace away is correct.
West Ham at home.
West Ham at home was not a correct answer. Wasn't that like the 4-3? Something along those lines. So
no, that was the away, but I don't remember what the home one was.
I think the home one was a bit of a goal as well.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was I think it was 4-3 or 5-3, something along those lines. I just remember it being a lot of goals.
I can never remember Arsenal keeping a clean sheet at all, let alone what game. So fair enough.
We played 37 matches across the WSL and Champions League and kept a clean sheet in 18, so almost half.
That's not bad.
Yeah, not West Ham at home, unfortunately for you, Izzy. So Izzy is out. Back to Beth.
Real Madrid at home.
Real Madrid at home is correct.
Tottenham at home.
Tottenham at home is also correct. I hope Jacob's listening.
Hey.
Liverpool at home in the league.
Liverpool at home is the correct answer.
London City Lionesses home.
It's only WSL and Champions League.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise that. What do I get to?
Yeah, I'll let you go again.
Take two. Oh God. Wait, did I say Palace away or can I say Palace home?
Palace home is a correct answer. You did say Palace away the first time. Beth?
Juventus at home.
Juventus at home is correct in the group stage.
Liverpool away?
Liverpool away is also correct.
Juventus away.
Juventus away is correct as well. Double clean sheets against the UA.
Tottenham away?
Tottenham away, unfortunately, is not a correct answer. So that means Tottenham away is not. Oh no, sorry, I've missed it on my list. I was scrolling through the incorrect answers.
It is, isn't it?
It's because it is. I've just got it out of order on my list. But you are correct. My bad. Correct answer. On to Beth.
Brighton at home.
Brighton at home is correct indeed.
Leicester away.
Leicester away is correct.
Oh.
You've done 12 out of 18 so far. You're doing pretty well.
Who else do we play in the Champions League? BK Häcken at home.
BK Häcken at home in the qualifying round of the Champions League is a correct answer.
I can't remember if this has been said or not. Everton at home?
It's not been said and it is correct.
Oh.
I'm trying to think who else we played in qualifying now because I'm running out of ideas.
Yeah, I think I've got one more answer.
Rangers at home.
Rangers, I'll accept it. It was actually a neutral venue, technically.
Ah, yes, of course.
The other qualifying. Oh, Rosenborg at home?
That is correct. Only 2 answers left. I was not expecting you to get this far
I don't know
through.
what we've missed. I should have started writing this down.
I don't know what we've missed.
I will say if you both get the next answer wrong, it does go back because I need someone to get more correct answers than the other.
I'm gonna say. I'll say United at home, but I know that's not. I don't think that's right.
United at home is an incorrect answer, so that means Ella, if you can give me a correct answer here, you take the round.
I have absolutely no idea, and I can't even remember who I've said now at this point. We didn't keep a clean sheet against Lyon away, did we? I can't even remember what the score was.
Lyon away is an incorrect answer, unfortunately.
It wasn't a clean
so that
sheet.
means you're both back in. I'll give you a small clue for the both of you. There are 2 answers left. They were both in the WSL and they were both in the first half of the season.
Who have we missed?
Villa?
Home or away?
Home.
Is a correct answer. There is 1 answer left, Ella.
I can't remember whether this has been said. I'm sure it has. Brighton at home. It's been said, hasn't it?
Brighton at home has been said. So that means Beth takes the round. It was 2 weeks before that. It was West Ham away.
Oh.
But
God,
I'll tell you
that's so
what,
annoying.
getting 17 out of 18 is a very good attempt, very good going. And Beth, on her debut round in Know Your Stat, takes it. So West Ham away was the only one you couldn't have got, that you didn't get, sorry. And then there were, quite a few where we conceded 1, a few 2, 3, 4, and 5 in a couple of games as well. So we'll move on to round 2. Izzy, you're going to pick this one and you're going to go first. Would you like the one about shots, passing, or lineups?
Lineups, please.
Lineups, okay. So this one's going to be Izzy, then Beth, then Ella. I would like you to think back to the first game in the WSL that Renee Slager's managed. It was away at West Ham, that game where we won and kept a clean sheet. And I would like you to tell me any player that featured in that game. So I can tell you that obviously both teams had a starting 11. I'll tell you as well, West Ham made 3 subs and Arsenal made 5. Any player that featured in that game. Izzy to go first.
Leah Williamson.
Leah Williamson was an unused substitute on that day.
Me and Gunnosaurus are going home.
Yeah, Gunnosaurus has not been a good luck charm for you.
He's not. I'm mad.
It's been a very good luck charm for both Beth and Ella today. But unfortunately, just not for you, Izzy. Beth?
That is so funny. Katie McCabe.
Katie McCabe is a correct answer.
Alessia Russo.
Alessia Russo is also correct. You can give the West Ham players as well on this, by the way. Don't forget.
Oh, really?
Oh.
I'm just going to probably stick Arsenal.
Mariana Caldente.
Caldente is correct.
Kim Little.
As is Kim Little.
Steph Catley.
Yep, also correct. In at centre back.
Daphne.
Yeah. I'll keep her all the way through the season.
Frida Marnham.
Frida Marnham is a correct answer.
Beth Mead.
Beth Mead is not a correct answer. Oh no, sorry, she is. She was on the bench and she came on. I forgot to scroll down.
Sam, you don't want me to succeed here.
No. This is getting really tense.
It's because it's so late.
Yeah, that's my excuse as well.
Where's Beth?
Emily.
Beth's obviously up bright and early, which is, if anything, worse. I'd rather be doing this at 10:30 at night than 7:30 in the morning. So yeah, I don't really have any excuses if Beth's winning. Go on, Beth, your turn.
Oh, sorry. Emily Fox.
Emily Fox is correct.
Leah Balti.
Leah Balti is also correct.
Okay, I'm going to move to West Ham. Because I interviewed her the other day and I'm sure that she played this game. Shannon Cook.
Shannon Cook is a correct answer. Do you know what? That was one that I didn't think someone would get because obviously she didn't play for West Ham much after that. But yeah, good little plug as well for your interview.
I'm going to try and clean out Arsenal whilst I'm at it. Stina.
Go on. Stina Blackstonius came off the bench.
West Ham. Katrina Gorry.
Katrina Gorry is correct. She started the game.
Kyra?
Kyra Cooney-Cross came off the bench.
Oh,
You've got 3 of the 5 substitutes, Ella, on your own.
It's going to go downhill from here, I'm afraid.
I don't know if she's been said yet. Caitlin Ford?
Caitlin Ford's not been said, and she is the correct answer.
Codina?
Lycadina is the last player in the starting lineup for Arsenal.
Arsenal subs. Rosa Kafaji?
Rosa Kafaji is a great shout and a correct answer.
I think did she score in that game?
I can't remember, to be honest with you, and I haven't got it in front of me.
I think she might have. I think that's why
I will trust your knowledge on that because you are probably right.
I have
Knowing
no
you,
clue.
you are probably right.
Denton?
Nick Denton is correct.
Kinga Shemik?
King of Shemek, yep, played every minute for West Ham last season in the WSL.
God, I really can't remember if she came off the bench for us. This could be really bad. I might be able to go out here. Katie Reid?
Katie Reid is correct, and that is all 16 Arsenal players.
Oh.
So you've only got West Ham players left now.
Okay. Amber Tiziak?
Is a correct answer.
My West Ham knowledge is not good enough here. I think this could be me going out. I might have to forfeit myself, guys.
No
I'm
answer
sure
given.
Beth could just keep on going all night.
No, I definitely starting to know.
That does mean that Beth takes the round, and it does mean Beth takes the game. So
Wow,
I'll
fair
run you
play.
through the players that you could have had. There were obviously only West Ham players left. The ones you could have had were Rico Oweki, Shalina Zadorsky, Una Siren, Vivasei, Lee Menguem, Sarina Pubel, and then off the bench there was Bringers Dottir, Pavi, and Emma Harries. So, yeah, 21 players done is very good going. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with two of you. Sorry, Izzy. But this
I'm
could
proud
be
I
your
just did
round
myself on the. I'm proud I did myself on the Arsenal part at least.
I think it's personally the most on-brand Arsenal thing to like pick the one wrong answer and just like go all in. So
Which you would think is a pretty safe bet.
I don't. Yeah. The
It was
worst thing
honestly-
is, my knowledge of West Ham is like at this point from pricing them encyclopedic. So why I didn't just start with all the West Ham players? I just thought, no, do you know what? I'm going to play it safe.
Oh,
You would
bless
think
you. It was
generally
honestly
Liam
a great-
Williamson would be playing it safe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not
you
like you
would
went with
think that
Catherine
was
Krul off the
definitely
start or
would have been
something.
my first answer.
But Izzy, maybe this will be your round. So this one is going to be, I think it's Ella's turn to go first, then Beth and Izzy. So Ella, would you like the round on passing or shooting?
Let's go shooting for giggles.
Shooting it is. So this is the final round, and I would like you to tell me any player for Arsenal that took at least 10 shots in the WSL last season. There are 12 correct answers. Let's go first.
Alessia Russo.
Yeah, funnily enough, she is a correct answer. She actually took the most
Oi.
in the league. It'd be hard to score more than 10 goals and not take more than 10 shots. So,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, is it shots or shots on target?
Just shots.
Okay, Stina Blackstenius.
Steve, I like how you asked about shots on target before you gave that answer.
I always ask.
She is a correct answer. She took 34 shots. Now, Beth.
Caitlin Ford.
Caitlin Ford is correct. 36.
Wow.
Mariona.
Yeah, Mariona's fifth with 28.
Beth Mead.
Beth Mead is next on the list with 27.
Frida Marnham.
Frida Marnham is number 2. I think she was something like third in the league as well. 57 shots.
Chloe Kelly.
Chloe Kelly took 16. Correct answer.
Katie McCabe.
Katie McCabe was 8th on the list with 17.
Kim Little.
Kim Little is an incorrect answer, unfortunately.
No. Damn.
So that means, Beth, you are out. You're not getting a clean sweep on your debut.
So close.
Ella and Izzy to bat it out now.
This is going to be wrong. Steph Catley.
Steph Catley is also an incorrect answer.
Yeah.
So that means
And I called
correct
it as
answer
well.
from
I knew it
Izzy
was
here
wrong and I
wins it.
still said it.
Still need a correct answer from Izzy.
Oh, the pressure to redeem myself.
What pressure?
Pressures for tyres.
I'm gonna say Emily Fox.
Emily Fox, in a photo finish, took exactly 10 shots, so is a correct answer.
Do you know what? I was
And
so
Izzy.
close to saying Emily Fox as well. So that is so annoying.
I was
Izzy
100%
takes
gonna
that.
say Kim Little next. So
Yeah, I think Kim Little seems like a sensible option, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
no, Kim Little took 7. Steph Catley, for the record, by the way, took 5.
Gunnosaurus was up.
But yeah, Emily Fox on 10 was enough. Maybe Gunnosaurus was lucky after all. And
he's
I think-
allowed back in the room.
just for a quick tot-up, by the way, because I'm a stats guy, it's not just a football thing. But in that game, in that match, I should say, Ella gave 21 correct answers and didn't win a round. Izzy gave 4 and won a round.
No, do you know what? And that's that. There goes my luck. 0 wins on Know Your Stat.
Listen, and that's how sometimes football is just about the W. Like
The underlying
one
numbers
shot
are
on
there.
target, 1 goal, and then you win the game.
Ella, you're creating the XG. You just need to put the chances away. That's what it is.
What can I say? My boots are rusty.
Yeah. The answers that you could have had in that round were Leah Valti had also got exactly 10. Kari Cooney-Cross had 11, and Leah Williamson had 22, which surprised me. But
Whoa!
Yeah, there we are. Beth is victorious on debut. That'll be going into the leaderboard. I really need to put the leaderboard up on socials at some point. I'll catch up with all my editing because I'm about a week behind on podcasts. I've got 3 or 4 left to edit now. But once they're all out, maybe once all the previews are done, we'll put a leaderboard up. We'll see if Izzy is back to the top of it. Izzy was at the top at the start of August. By my last count, it dropped down to 3rd below Tom and Jacob. So it's all to play for. Could happen. But yeah, there we are. Thank you, you 3, for coming on, and thank you, listener, for tuning in and being here so we're not just rambling to ourselves. Thank you for tuning in to Decoding the WSL. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, wherever you get your podcast. Do give it a 5-star rating as well if that's available on wherever you are listening. You can also follow at Decoding the WSL on Instagram and check out the YouTube channel if you've not already. All of our podcasts are on there as videos. There's also the Recommended Recruit series, of which there is an Arsenal episode on there. It is from a couple of months ago, so it's a little bit outdated, but there's still some, I think, good content on there and very interesting. Thank you all for coming on. Thank you, Beth, for coming on for your debut as well. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for having me. Loved it.
It's been great to have you on. Sorry it's such an early start, but it's not my fault you're in Melbourne, let's be honest. But thank you very much for making the effort. Ella, thank you for coming on, and I'll see you in a couple of days because we're doing the Chelsea one together soon, aren't we?
Absolutely looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on, Sam.
Yeah. No, it's been good to have you on. Yep, that'll be in your ears probably, well, hopefully in a few days after you're listening to this one, listener, alongside Chloe Willoway. And then Izzy, well done on getting your at least a round win in Decode.
Thank you.
In Know Your Stat.
Thank you so much. I'm rusty, so I need to just slowly get back into it now. I will return to my winning ways.
You will. You have been at the top before. It's not to say it won't happen again. Very much like Arsenal. And we'll leave you on that note, listener. Thank you very much for listening or watching, and we'll see you at the next one.